branch, every good part of my life. I can't take credit for it. I can't take credit for it.
Hey, church is like a good woman. We can't even find a good woman. You can't find a good woman.
Tail out of here. What kind of girl would let a boy fall all over her in the house of God?
If you do what God says do, He'll supply your every need.
Welcome back, my little lapis lazulis. And welcome to Crystals and Crossroads, episode 5.
Yep.
And this will be a 2-part episode. We're going to just do one episode and one episode, but then we realized it's just easier to do it all at once and then split it up for you guys. And you can listen to it at your own pace whenever you feel like it.
Yep. And are we addressing
What?
the lapse?
The lapse. Listen, okay. It's summer. I did say my first 2 weeks of summer I didn't plan on doing shit except sleep. And that's what I've done. Also, it's just, life. However, we're going to do better. And in our defense, we did record this episode already. And then we watched it.
Yeah.
So
True.
when you record an episode and edit it and then decide you're not going to use it, it goes a little slow. But
True.
like we've said every single time, we try to be active on TikTok. We're a little more active on TikTok than Instagram. But I'm trying to post more on Instagram as we post on TikTok.
Yeah, I feel like Instagram is going to be your thing and TikTok's going to be my thing.
Yeah, that's because Carly likes to argue with people.
True.
We need to address the climate. Like, Carly is being mean to you on TikTok, okay? It's not me. So stop messaging us and telling me that I'm fat and I need to work out because it's rude. And I'm nice, okay? But I can be mean if I need to be, okay? Now, if I saw you in real life and you said that to me in real life, you would wonder which sister is the mean sister.
True.
That would not fly
postpartum
with me,
rage.
okay? That would not fly with me. But it's fine. And we understand that we're posting controversial topics on TikTok that people don't like to talk about and people don't like to hear about, but quite literally, I do not care. And I feel like we try really hard to be respectful with it, and we aren't outright nasty, we aren't outright mean, unless somebody does it to us first, right?
Yeah.
So people can't have conversations these days. People can't take any type of criticism. And that's not my problem. You need to work on that. You're an adult, and if you're not an adult, you probably shouldn't be on TikTok that much,
True.
So
And I feel like today I made a guy mad because I said, "Oh, is a white man sad? Am I making you mad?" And then he blew up on me and was like, "You know what? I'm gonna say it again. You need to grow up. Blah 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 blah. You can't have a conversation." And I said, "You're not entitled to a conversation with me. And also, you're being pretty emotional right now. I think you need to go pray about that." And then he deleted it all.
Yeah. I think,
So,
like, if you've been around and you've listened to all of our episodes, and if you haven't, like, newsflash, right? We've been pretty open about who we are, what we support, what we don't support, and what we advocate for and what we advocate against. I'm a counselor. My whole job is advocate for people, right? You're an archaeologist. Your job is to make sure history doesn't fucking repeat itself over and over and over again. But here we are,
Yeah.
So if you don't like that, that's fine. We're maybe not the people for you. We're probably not the people you want to learn from. There's people out there that you can learn from,
And let's be clear. we don't want you here. If you don't align with us with your morals and your values, chances are pretty good we don't want you here anyway. So,
However, I'm of the belief that my guides and my people bring people to me that need to be in my life and in my path. So if you are here, I do think that you're here for a reason and you should open your mind, hear what we have to say, be educated, and keep an open mind. You might find that what we're saying makes sense. You know,
yeah.
yeah, sometimes the way people say things is brash and it's aggressive, right? But sometimes the situation calls for that. And what's happening right now in our world, right?
Yeah.
I think it deserves a little bit of aggressiveness, and there's nothing wrong with that. So,
Yes, absolutely. The way that I have cried like every day. I'm in my old age, I'm becoming extremely empathetic, and it's very weird for me. It's a weird experience.
it's weird because I'm like the opposite. I'm going the
Yeah.
opposite. Like,
Yeah.
I was last
Yeah.
night, I was on TikTok, okay, and this guy came on that we watch. He's like a news guy, and he said something about Israel was gonna bomb Iran, and I'm like, bro,
Mhm.
I can't do this shit. I
Mhm.
went on a rant to Rob, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I am so fucking sick of religion. Like, people are so elitist. Like, they think their religion's the only
Mhm.
religion that matters. Like, okay, well, Jerusalem is mine because Jesus was there. Well, Jerusalem is mine because Muhammad was there. I don't give a fuck about Jerusalem anymore.
No.
Your religion does not trump other people's religion. Simple as that.
Right.
I'm not religious. I have that I'm entitled to be that way. However, I support everybody's right to whatever they want. You know what I mean?
I think it hits really close to home because my husband's in the army, and so
Yes.
it's like if shit pops off again in the Middle East, like
Yeah.
who do you think's going to be going to deal with that?
And for what? Like, that's my
Right.
biggest thing is for what? Like, okay,
Exactly.
you know, if you it's once again another hopefully you're here for the right reasons. It's another elitist attitude, right? It's Judaism thinking, "Oh, we're the chosen people. We deserve to have
Mhm.
this because God made this for us."
Yeah.
However, who are you to say that Muhammad and Jesus, that Muhammad isn't Jesus reincarnated? Who are you to say that? You don't know that.
No.
Why is your take so much more important that you're willing to literally kill? Like, you think God's up there,
Genocide.
literally, God's up there proud of you? And if he is,
Yeah.
exactly what I said. Exactly what I've been saying this whole time.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's the
don't
thing.
Bye.
I know that Israel and Palestine is such a loaded topic. Okay. And it's been going on for years, I don't even know, like 70 plus years or something.
Yeah.
But my thing is that Palestinians are indigenous to that area.
Mhm.
And here you are genociding another group of people. I thought
Mhm.
we said never again. I thought we
Right.
said that.
Because
I
it's not
thought we
you.
learned. Yeah.
Mhm. It's not you.
I thought
No.
we learned our lesson
We don't,
with that.
because people use religion as a get out of jail free card. They're
Yeah.
doing it under the guise of, well, we're the chosen people. This was our land
Yeah.
given to us by God. So you're not going to take it from us because it's given to you by the wrong God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so they think it's a get out of jail free card. They can do whatever they want because they're doing it under the guise of religion. And I'm over it. I don't give a fuck anymore about
Yeah.
religion.
I mean,
Anything. I
it's
don't give a fuck anymore. Get away from me.
I mean, it's the same thing that's happening here in the United States right now. It's just we have MAGA Christian nationalists that are rounding up every brown and black person that you can imagine because they look illegal, you know? And my thing is that if you don't think that Jesus was a brown refugee, you're wrong and you need to go
Yeah.
read your fucking Bible again. Because Jesus would not stand for any of this that's happening right now.
No.
And when people come at me with, well, they need to come here legally. Well, Jesus would have came here legally. And what if he didn't? What are you going to do then? Actually,
I don't think
I
Jesus would
said
have
that.
come here at all.
Yeah, first of all, that's crazy to just
He's
think that
staying
Jesus would
where
come to
he's at,
America.
okay?
Jesus is going to stay in the Middle East, okay? And like that's the thing is like I said that to someone. So what if he didn't? What would you do? And he said, "Well, I would try to figure out a way to get him here legally." And I'm like, "No, you
Yeah.
wouldn't. You would scream deport him. You would call ICE on him, and I don't want to hear anything else from you. Because I know that you
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Because you don't like brown people."
I think that's just like where I get frustrated. It's like I respect everybody's right to believe what they want to believe, to do what they want to do, right? That's your decision. If you want to go to church, if you want to believe in God, okay. However, be right about it, right? Even if you're telling me you believe in God, that God would not support this behavior. The God you're telling me you believe in would not support this behavior.
No.
So how are you justifying it in your head? I think that's where I really struggle because I think I do really well and I try really hard to put myself in other people's shoes and put myself in their situations and see all sides of a freaking story. You know, like shit, I can empathize with anybody, okay?
Yeah.
However, I struggle with people who don't do the same. Who
Yeah.
think, oh, well, they should have come here illegally, even though you're ripping a mother from your child's arms. And you can't even fathom like why that's not okay. You
Yeah,
know?
there's a lack of empathy.
Exactly. And I really struggle with because I do feel like as a country, probably even a world, we lack empathy in a really
Yeah.
general. And to me, religious people in religion should be empathetic. That's what you're preaching. That's what you're love thy neighbor, treat thy neighbor how you'd want to be treated. You know,
Yeah.
all of these things. And you're not practicing that. No matter how you say it, you're not, you know.
No.
So whatever. There's my rant. I'm over it. It just frustrates me. I hate that actually is a really big pet peeve of mine. People who are empathetic.
Yeah.
Sometimes you used to get me. You used to get me yourself.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, at my old age, I'm getting more
Yeah, like
empathetic, but
I just
but
struggle.
still not in the way that you are.
No, yeah.
I mean, like, you are very empathetic and you have it for everyone. Me,
Yeah.
I don't have empathy for people who are screaming, yeah, for minorities to get deported. I don't have empathy
Well,
for
and
you.
I don't necessarily think I have empathy for that. I think I give everybody the chance to show me
Yeah.
if they're a good
Yeah.
person or if they
Yeah, and
have
I
good
don't have
ethics
that.
and morals.
I don't
Because
have
I
that.
do, and I think especially in my line of work, I do think that there are people that are simply uneducated. They're just
Yeah.
going off of what their parents did, what their grandparents did,
Mhm.
what their community does, and they're not knowledgeable on it, right? So I
Yeah.
always give everybody the chance to be like, okay, well, tell me why. Tell me why, like, you're having a problem with this or why you're believing this because I don't see it that way. And if, they tell me and I'm like, shit, no, you do know what you're talking about. No, we're never going to agree. You know what I mean? But, like,
Yeah.
that's a burden that I bear. Like, now, I
That's what
simply
I was about to say.
I want students and young people to understand what they're saying. I want them to
Right.
educate themselves, even if it's something that I don't believe in. I want them to be knowledgeable on that. I want them to be educated on that. And if they still don't believe what I believe, that's okay. Like, that's
Yeah.
not my job to change your mind. I just want you to know what you're talking about. If you're going to come to me with an argument and you're going to come to me and say something, you better know what you're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think that's just teaching them good values anyways. If you're going to start an argument or have a debate, know what the fuck you're talking about. And if you don't,
Right.
you probably shouldn't be debating. You know? Like, if you're going to
Yeah.
protest something, you better damn well know what you're protesting. Because if you don't,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm not on board with that.
Yeah. Yep.
You know? So,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like, even like as adults, that's all we ask for. I think that if you believe in something, again, say that shit with your chest. Don't be
yeah,
ashamed of your beliefs. If you
yeah,
believe that, then believe it.
yeah,
Like, and that's, yeah,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have that same kind of level of care. First of all, I don't care enough
Well, I
to.
do because
I mean, you have to.
in my biggest goal in the world, like I want to make a difference. I want
Yeah.
to make the world better than it is right now, right? Even if
Yeah.
that's me just leaving my kids, the legacy of like them being better men. Um,
Yeah.
my nieces, well, not really my nieces. I'll just call them my nieces because that's my cousin's kids. Like making them empowered women. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important to me, and that's leaving my legacy. And I touch lives of people all the time. So even if they
Yeah.
don't ever believe what I believe, even if it stops to think for just a second, like, oh, this, or, said this one time or something, like
Yeah.
maybe they'll think about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, let's get to the fucking episode. We could talk all damn day about this, but
I know. Maybe we
we
should have a little our segments,
should, yeah, we
like
should
a
have a
political
mini
segment.
episode, yeah, where it's like, don't join us if you want to talk politics.
Yeah, this
Uh,
is everything that's been on our mind lately.
we're gonna just skip the question of the day because I feel like we
Yeah,
talked
that
for
was
18 minutes already.
we
That was the
did.
question of the day. What's wrong with the fucking world today?
Period. Why does Aaron Parnas keep coming on my For You page saying breaking news? And I'm like,
I
I
think that's
can't
him. Is
take
that
any
who
more.
said? Is that who said? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is why I don't fucking watch the
Yeah.
news. Now the news on our For You
Yeah.
page, bitches.
Yeah. I told my therapist today I get my news from three people. Aaron Parnas, Under the Desk News,
Uh-huh.
knitting cult lady.
Yeah.
And she's not
Yeah.
even really the news. She talks me off the edge with the military stuff.
Oh, is that the
So,
blonde lady?
no, she has like
Oh,
brown curly hair. Listen, she's really
okay.
badass.
I'll have to find it.
She was raised in the Children of God cult in
Yeah.
Brazil.
Huh.
Um This is how she introduces herself. She goes, I'm Daniela, whatever. And I was raised in the cult of the Children of God. And then I joined the cult of the U.S. Army. And she's like, and I'm going to talk about the cult of whatever today. And so
Okay.
I love her. She was an intelligence captain in the in the
Oh,
army. So like she talks me off the ledge with all the military stuff. She goes,
yeah.
they can't do this, they're not going to do that, they can't fight 3 million people, there's only this many people in the military, they can't fight
Yeah.
all these Americans. And I'm like,
Oh my
my
God.
God. Okay, anyway, again, today we are going to do a, I guess, oral history interview. That's how I like to frame it, because I love that. I think that this could be a fun episode for your kids to watch back, maybe like when we're
Yeah.
old. And
Yeah.
then like I'm never gonna have kids, so if they want to watch this of mine, sure. But also for you guys to get to know us on, I guess, like a deeper level. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and just
Okay.
to see that we're like normal people, like we've had ups and downs, we've
Yeah.
had problems, but like overall, like we're just like normal, you know? And like,
Yeah. I
there's
mean, we
nothing
have our
special.
traumas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We, yeah.
so we did it last time. I interviewed Carly. I guess
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
hold
go
on, she
very
forgot about
oral.
the She
What?
forgot about the ethics of an oral history interview is that the interviewee must know the
Well,
questions beforehand
anyways, I
and
think
think
it's
about them.
better. I think it's better to just fly by the seat of your pants. However, Carly does not. That's the Virgo and Libra in us.
Yeah.
Um, but I told her she can ask me now whatever the fuck she wants because I'm really good at flying by the seat of my pants. But
Yep.
I wrote the questions down for her, so she doesn't know exactly what questions I'm asking, but she has an idea.
Yes.
So we'll start with
Okay.
me, and then
Yes,
we'll
we're
move to
going to
Carly for
start.
part two.
Yep, we'll start with this. And I think we've split it up into childhood,
Yeah,
20s, 30s, and then some other.
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, let's see. What were your earliest memories of faith or religion, and how did those shape you?
Oh, my earliest memories.
Yeah, it's
See,
hard,
I'm
isn't
like
it?
weird. I don't remember a lot. Like, I'm one of those people that doesn't remember a lot before I'm like, probably like 5, 4, 5. I don't
I
remember a
don't even
lot.
remember anything before 7. What are you talking about?
Rob will tell me he remembers when he was like 1, and he gets mad when I say it. That's bullshit because so I'm like, okay, maybe you do. I don't know. Whatever. I Googled it. Some people do. I'm not one of them.
Me
I
either.
think for me, my earliest, like, I think prominent religious like memories, um, were all like centered around school. So like I went to
Yeah.
a private school starting in 3rd grade. Um, so I just remember, um, I don't know, like I just remember I never really felt like I didn't care. I just never felt invested as everybody else.
Mm.
Um, I remember like not really loving going to Sunday school. I thought that was really and awful. I remember sitting in church with my papaw and him like giving me lifesavers. And I really just drew on the what do they
The
call them?
notes.
Yeah, what was that called? Um,
I can't
yeah,
remember.
the little pamphlets that you got
Yeah.
every
Like
morning.
devotional
Yeah,
things.
like I do remember having my Bible. I really liked just looking through it. I had like a girls, like devotional Bible. Um, but yeah, like I just remember always feeling, even when I was little, like still a little like, like not like super invested, but I also can preface like I did have undiagnosed ADHD. So like church is
True.
a struggle and has always been a
Yeah.
struggle for me. So, but yeah, I think the private school was like the number one thing, like just feeling like, oh, okay, I'm here. What do I do now? you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think that shaped you?
Um, well, as I'm learning more about myself, I do think I have like some weird, like, I want to say I learned about this actually, avoidant attachment, and I don't get very close to people. What?
I'm
What?
anxious attachment, so
I
it's
think
just funny.
I just really keep people on arm's length because I never like I never felt included. Like I never
Yeah.
felt I had friends and I had good friends, I think when I was
Hmm.
younger, I did. Um but I think I kept everyone at like an arm's length. Like I never quite they were probably more invested in me at that time than I was in them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then I had awful self-esteem, awful
Yeah.
when I was younger. Like I always felt um chubby. I always felt like I wasn't cute enough, like um I was always just like self-conscious about stuff. And I do attribute that to being raised religious. I think you're
Yeah.
always, whether you say you are or not, you're always comparing yourself to other people. Um, and it's hard when like you just never feel like you fit in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
I do think I struggled with like, yeah, just like feeling like I belonged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, let's see. What's a moment from our past that you now recognize as a trauma response? This kind of goes into what you're saying, even if we didn't know it then, or you didn't
Uh,
know it then.
oh, what is something that was a trauma response?
Yeah, what's a moment from our past that you now recognize as a trauma response?
No.
Mhm.
Like, uh, uh, I'm not good at recognizing responses. I'm not good at that.
Okay.
I think I have a very big, I do think sometimes my empathy is a trauma response. I think that I try really hard to make sure everybody around me is happy and okay. And even though that's most of the time was putting myself last and I was never really always happy and okay, I did, I think I slept in your room a lot. I tried really hard to just make sure everybody around me was okay,
Yeah.
you know? And I do think sometimes, I don't know, I struggle with the word, but I don't know. Like, I do think that was in response to just some struggles that like we had as a
Mm-hmm.
family and wanting to make sure like we were okay as a family. Everybody was going to be okay. I would go to sleep. Everyone was okay. I'd wake up. Everybody was okay. And I didn't have to worry about everybody, even though I did all the time. I worried all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Valid.
yeah. Like I do think like at some points my empathy, over empathy when I was younger was a trauma, like a little bit of a response to stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it fits what, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is a trauma. It's not even like over em empathizing. It's like
No.
I think you're not a people pleaser anymore, but you
No, but I
used to
was.
be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a trauma response right there,
Yeah.
being a people
Yeah.
pleaser.
Yeah,
So,
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
I think that fits. Okay. How would you describe our relationship as sisters back when we were kids?
Um, well, when I was really little, you annoyed the shit out of me. Um,
That's what little sisters are for.
yeah. I think
Supposed to be
as I
annoying.
got a little older, like teenage years, I think we were a little bit
Hmm.
closer. You know, you still annoyed me, but I didn't mind having you around. You know, and
Hmm.
I feel like I tried to like help take care of you, you know?
Hmm.
Um, I didn't want like you, because I feel like when I I knew and I didn't care that I didn't have like things, right? Like I didn't
Yeah.
care that I didn't have brand new clothes, or I mean, not that I didn't have
Yeah.
brand new clothes, I did, but like from Hollister, you know,
Right.
like from
Yeah.
the store, all of
Yeah.
this stuff, like Uggs from
Yeah.
the store, like all this stuff. Like I didn't
Yeah.
give a shit. My mom worked at TJ Maxx. I didn't give a shit. She could buy my clothes. I did not care.
Hmm.
Um, but I know you did. So like
Hmm.
I know like I didn't want I know that was just like a little bit of a burden sometimes on our family. So
Yeah.
but I didn't want you to feel like you were going without. So like I do feel like
Yeah.
I took on a little bit of a role like of making sure you had things. So like for Christmas I'd buy
Hmm.
you Ugg boots, or you know, like the things that like I so it didn't necessarily burden mom and dad more, but you were also still able to get what you wanted, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of
I'm,
morphed into that a little bit.
yeah, true. I mean, I did grow up with stupid rich friends, so that didn't help, I'm sure.
That's true. And also did. I just simply didn't care as much.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
guess
just
that's
what
what
it is.
happens when you go to a suburban white people school and you're the poor ones.
Yeah, yeah. And I
And
always
you're
tell people
surrounded by a
that, like,
bunch of
I was
rich
like,
people.
we were poor Hilliard. And then I went to
Yeah.
my first counseling job, and they're like, "Oh, well, you were poor Hilliard. You're rich this area," you know. And I was like, I don't know about that, you know.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know.
dated
I
someone
don't
in this area, and he was rich this area, and he was
know.
richer than
Right.
us. So,
Right. Like
like,
we weren't like inner city Columbus poor, but
no.
we
But
could have been.
this is just,
We
yeah,
were
like
on the line.
all my friends for our 16th birthdays, one got a brand new Mustang.
Yeah.
One got an Acura, one got a Ford
Hmm.
Explorer, one got a Honda
Yeah.
Civic, which was like on par. Honda Civic, okay.
Yeah.
I was just thankful I had a car in general. And they were like, Kayla, why don't you ever drive? And I was like, well, that's because if my car starts overheating, I have to turn the heat on full blast. And also, there's no AC, bitch. What do you mean, why don't I drive? Why would I drive my 1992 Ford Taurus when we can ride in your brand new fucking Acura, bitch? Shut up.
Oh, your
Like,
Mustang. Damn.
yeah, like, shut up. What do you
That's so
mean? You don't
funny.
want to ride in my car.
Right? You don't want to be caught dead in this thing,
Like, and
okay?
I rolled
Shut
up to
up.
school and went meh when I opened the door. Okay, like, but I'm thankful that I had a
Mm.
car. Like,
Yeah, true.
I didn't even care because I know so many kids like don't get that opportunity. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess in a way we were rich enough that I was able to have a car. You know, was it a great car?
Yeah.
No, but at least
It
you
was
know
more of a burden for us to not have a vehicle.
that's true. That's true.
So,
Yeah,
like, our parents were like, we gotta go to work.
yeah.
Like, we don't got time to take you to school. You either walk or you take this piece of shit car. And we were like, give me
Yeah.
the car right now.
Yeah, but I feel like our relationship has always been, I don't think it's ever been like really bad. I think we've had moments
No. Hold
where,
on. Hold on.
what?
I sent you this TikTok that was like when you and your sister are fighting, your mom is crying because she's like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are gonna need each other one day.
We've
You're
had
like,
our
oh,
moments.
you have.
We've had our moments,
The
but
moments where our grandfather has emailed our mom being like, I have never seen these two people fight so much and so violently before over dog food.
but that goes back to my original statement of Carly used to be very unempathetic and
Yes.
she pissed me off. Okay.
I did. I did. I still can be, so
One
hasn't gone
day,
away
literally one
completely.
day, this is on topic, but it's one day I lost my shit on Carly because she was visiting, I was visiting, and she was visiting, whatever. She comes home knowing I haven't eaten, I've been waiting for her with food, and I say, um, why did you do that? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I just didn't think of you. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
okay. And that was it. I lost it. I was crying and screaming, and even my mom was like, that was messed up. Why would you say that? And then I was just pissed. But she's gotten better since then. I'm like, you didn't think of me? Yeah. That was a long
I
time ago,
mean,
though. So we'll give her some slack.
this is the thing though. I do feel like that's very youngest sibling coded.
It is. And that frustrates the oldest sibling that gives so
Yeah.
much to her younger sibling. So, but she's gotten much better. I'll give her some
Yeah, I
credit.
have. Also, I was,
However, we still, after about a week, we're gonna
yeah,
fight. Just get over it.
we gotta take a
We'll
break.
be fine. We'll be fine, but we're gonna fight. So,
We're never gonna fight so bad to where we don't speak to each other ever again.
no,
Like
no.
that would have to be like, I mean, we just got in a fight because I said that you shouldn't get any more dogs.
Yeah, she sometimes says cunty things without thinking about it.
Yeah, I do. I can't help it. Well, I
So,
could help it, but that would take a lot of work. I have a lot of other things to work on. Anyway, moving on.
anyway, next question, bitch.
Okay, we are now gonna move into. Okay,
Okay.
let's move into deconstruction-y questions.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. How did it feel to lose the certainty that faith
Yeah.
once gave you?
Um, wow. What was that? How did it feel? Well, it was a little scary at first, but I'm really good at I was big in going with my gut, and once I know that like I believe in something or I don't believe in something, and like I said, I never felt like 100% sold on Christianity.
Hmm.
I did it because I thought that's what I was supposed to do, and what I always thought was like right, and what was the role and the path that I was supposed to take. But I never actually, like, I don't know that I ever fully invested myself into it. Like,
Hmm.
as in, like,
You were a lukewarm Christian.
yes and no. Like,
I'm just kidding. That's just what they call us on TikTok.
I do think that if they invested more in me,
Yeah.
and I do think that if God, whatever, invested more in me, that I would
Hmm.
have been a very good Christian. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, but I never felt that. I never felt that overwhelming
Hmm.
connection, you know? So it was easy for me to like, okay, like let's see what else is out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is
Yeah.
scary to be like, oh, okay, well, what now? Like what do I do now?
Yeah.
And it's also scary to tell people because they don't get it, you know?
Right.
And I think that was like probably the scariest part was like, okay,
Hmm.
like I have to be okay with whatever reactions I get, And then also like I have to be okay with not knowing right now, like what I believe in,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that
Yeah.
was what was hard, was like giving myself myself the like freedom to like look into things like deeper than I did before, you know?
Yeah.
So what?
How did the people around you respond to your spiritual evolution or questioning?
Um, well, Ron doesn't care. Yeah, he's not like overly religious, so like he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Um, he'll support me and whatever, like, and he'll learn about it too. You know what I mean? So like he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool about that. Mom and dad have always been really cool about it. I haven't had any
Hmm.
really weird reactions. Like I think I'm just honest about with people about stuff. Like I don't hide that what I believe and what I don't believe in. So far, like luckily our family, like if they're gonna talk about me, they're not gonna talk about me to my face.
Yeah.
So I'm not really gonna need to hear about it. And guess what? They're still gonna love me and they're still gonna show up for me. So like I just genuinely don't care.
Yeah.
Um, but like they do ask questions and then they listen to me,
Hmm.
So like I've felt supportive. My last my first school that I worked at, um, I did get a little bit of the like, oh well, you'll come back, you'll figure it out, and it's like, okay, I mean, whatever. Like I knew my audience, but I still spoke my truth, and I said what I said and what I believed, and like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for anyone, but I haven't had
Yeah.
anybody outright be like, what do you fucking mean? You're not a Christian,
Right.
And I don't
Yeah.
think that I will. And if I did, I just don't think I'd tolerate it. I think it's like, okay, like I don't need to have this conversation with you. So moving on,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know,
True.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
fortunate.
Yeah, I know. Um, what's something you used to believe that you now see completely different? That you see completely differently different? Yeah.
Um, well, I used to believe that, you know, tarot and mediumship and divination stuff was like evil. It was like talking to demons and ghosts and just crazy shit.
Yep.
But I think I've learned that obviously that's not the case. You know, I think
Yeah.
um I use my tarot cards a lot, and so far I've never been crazy evil, telling you to do crazy shit. Um, I think it's just your intentions and what you're looking for and what you're trying to get. So when someone's like, "Oh no, I did that," and it was like the demons were getting me, well, then I think you were doing something wrong. You were doing something evil that you shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
Um, and that's like that's your problem. That's not my problem. Like I'm very
Yeah.
clear about my intentions and what I'll allow in my life and in my
Yep.
space. And it's the same with mediumship. So like I've never had a negative experience,
Yeah.
and I think it's been cool. Um, to see like my Christian grandparents come through, even though like I think
Mm-hmm.
in this side of the world they would not have ever given a medium the time of day. So like I
Yeah.
think that's been cool to see. It's like that it's not all evil. It's just different, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
also do enjoy like even though I necessarily don't do it myself or believe or whatever, I do enjoy the witches and mediums and all of that that use the Bible and will show you that like it's in the Bible. It's there. It says
Mm.
it right there. You know, so like
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy that because I do think um like the Bible is a story and it has a lot. It might have some valuable information and valuable things in there that can be used. It's just been
Mm-hmm.
so warped for me that I just don't really give it the time of day. But I do think
Yeah.
one day that's definitely something that I'll look more into. You know, like
Yeah.
rereading the Bible under like a different lens.
Yeah.
You know?
I was thinking that the other day actually. I was like,
Yeah.
where's my Bible at? I can't remember if I threw it away. I'm like, let me
I just have kids' Bibles.
yeah. Oh
I have
yeah.
like my kids' Bible, like my Bible from when I was a kid, and then I have um Grayson's Bible.
I might. I just don't know where mine is. Well, it's just probably sitting over there somewhere. Um, I was gonna say, I think that if our dad's mom and
Yeah.
dad were still alive, I think that, and
Yeah.
we like talked to them, I think that they would have given us a hard time with it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because they are just like
Unfortunately.
southern and very rigid. And their
Yeah.
like way
They
of
didn't even like
thinking.
playing cards. So like card games. So
Well, so solitaire. And we played solitaire all the time.
exactly. So
I
hypocritical.
think, yeah, I think they were just indoctrinated at a really young age.
Yeah.
And in the
It probably
South, and I
was.
think especially Appalachia, like where they're from, like the hills, like
Yeah.
that's just what you do. And you don't step out of
Yeah.
line and you don't do anything different. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. I think they would have given us a hard time.
yeah.
Um, okay. Now to the rebuilding part. Our
Okay.
reconstruction.
Yeah.
Um, how do you define spirituality now outside of religion?
Oh man. I think spirituality now is just actually it's so funny because like I think like this, like the Queen of Cups.
Yeah.
It's just like being like one with yourself, honoring like your body, your mind, and everything you've been through, and then honoring the people who have like helped you through that, right? Like
Hmm.
that for us, like my ancestors, like help honoring them in a way that like yes, they might not have been perfect, but their path like got me here,
Mm-hmm.
and then honoring like as I learn my guides, because they're helping me along the way. They're helping me make the best choices for myself. But
Yeah.
I think for me, like spirituality is just being like it's trusting yourself. Because I think for so
Mm-hmm.
long, Christianity, like I didn't trust myself. I didn't think that I was like worthy enough, right? Like I didn't think that I was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Why would God talk to me? Why would he do this stuff for me? Because I'm not worthy of God. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
worthy to be in his presence. I'm not worthy to, da 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 da. And I always felt like I was doing something wrong, you know?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just been about like finding peace within myself, trusting myself, and understanding that like I have all the tools that I need to be successful and to live a good, healthy, productive life. I don't need to depend on anybody else to do that for me, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I think that is like what spirituality is. It's just like knowing that I'm my biggest supporter, you know,
Yeah.
and I have the power to make
Yeah.
all the changes I need.
Yep. So then what do you believe in now?
Hmm. Um, well, I do believe in like my higher self. I do believe that like
Mm-hmm.
there's untapped potential in everybody. I don't believe that I'll ever fully reach my higher self because I'm not like some, the monks living in the mountains. I have a real life and shit that I have to do, and it's
Yeah.
hard. I believe that, I have guides that show me my way, whether it's through my tarot cards, just my intuition, um, you know, your clairs, like clairvoyance, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I
Do
do
you believe
believe,
in,
what?
oh, I was gonna say, do you believe in one higher being or
Um, I'm on the fence
like
about that.
God of gods?
I'm on the fence about that. Like, I don't know necessarily that I believe in like one higher God per se.
Yeah.
I do, um, like source, people say source, right? Like, I do believe there's an
Mm-hmm.
energy source that is kind of like keeps everything kind of going, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily believe it's like it's really doing anything. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe that it's like
It's like
necessarily
a
like
collective
yeah,
energy.
yeah, like and I do believe in different like gods and goddesses, deities, ascended masters, things like that. I do believe in
Yeah.
that. Um I think they come here to help us. And, one day, I think the potential that one day everybody could have the potential to be some type of ascended master, right? That's just you really finishing your
Mm-hmm.
karmic cycle. And, you know, that could be any of us.
Yeah.
I do believe you live multiple lives. Um, I believe, like we've said before, the Celtic version of the other
Mm-hmm.
world, where you can kind of decide, do you want to stay there a little bit? Do you want to come back and start over again and see how you do the next time, or do you just kind of want to be done with it? You know,
Yeah.
because I do believe there's choices. I don't believe in just one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe in heaven and also believe like mediums, right? Because in the
Yeah.
traditional sense of heaven, um, when you die, you just kind of are on like a little bit of a pause until Jesus comes back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then how in turn would I be able to talk to my mama and papa? You know what I
Right.
mean? Because they're really not existing if the
Yeah.
traditional sense of heaven is real, right?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, the traditional sense of heaven is you kind of are doing nothing but worshiping God, so they really wouldn't have time to come down here and talk to me. Um,
Right.
So I do think that there is a heaven-like place, um, but I do not think it's heaven, but if
Mhm.
that's the word you feel comfortable with, whatever. I don't know that I have a word currently that like I'm sold on, but
Yeah.
I think I like Summerland, Otherworld, things like that. So,
Mhm.
but I'm still learning. I think the biggest thing is I know there's something after this. However, I think I have more control over what that is, than I've
Yeah.
been taught my whole life. You
Yeah.
know, do one more and then we'll wrap it up. So I'll be like,
Okay. How have we helped each other heal?
well, I think that what's nice is that um you never like question me. You just go along with whatever I want to do.
Yeah. True.
And I do the same. Like I just kind of like trust that, we're just doing the right things and
Mhm.
we're learning the right things around us. So I think that's nice to feel like you have a person that you can go to with questions and know that they're not gonna blow you off and like or like shame you
Yeah.
for having those questions. And also like to go to you for like to just be like, hey, I had this meditation and this thing happened. It was super weird and you not be like, uh that's not real. Like
Yeah.
so like I think that has helped a lot. Like just knowing that like I can come to you with anything and it not be like I don't have to worry about like being like made to feel like I'm cuckoo cuckoo because I saw this or I did this. And then I also think like it's nice that we do it together. Like we
Yeah.
try to do it all together because it's kind of like we got into this mess together. We might as well figure our way out of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I also trust that like you would tell me if I was like going too far or like being too
Mhm.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
um because like I think that can happen,
Mhm.
obviously.
Oh.
Yeah, like just that I can go and you will tell me like, okay, yeah, that's too much. You're being weird. Like you're going too far or like, whatever. So
Yeah.
I think that's like kind of nice to have someone that's like a balance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything you want to say that I didn't ask?
Oh,
That's what you're supposed to do
well,
at the end of oral history
oh, are
interviews.
you?
Yeah.
Um, I think that I, I think, I'm gonna say this. I had a weird, like, a lot of my light's being weird. A lot of my childhood and like Christianity, I think, especially like going to private school, like my parents thought they were doing
Hmm.
the best that they could, like the right things.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they were raised too. So I
Hmm.
think that's like why it is so hard. And I made a TikTok about it. Like I am raising like a generation of boys to heal our paternal line, you know?
Yeah.
But I do believe I was put here to heal our maternal line. Um,
Hmm.
so I think that's why I'm so adamant that like I don't really teach my kids about religion, um, because to I don't want them to just do something because I did it or I
Hmm.
did, right? Like, so my son Grayson doesn't love my tarot cards. They kind of freak him out. So I don't use them on him. Like if
Yeah.
sometimes he'll pull a card or something, and I'll do it, but for the most part, like I don't nag him about it. I don't, I'll be like, hey, do you wanna pick a card? And if he's like no, and then I'm like, okay, like moving on. I
Yeah.
don't really like push it on him ever. Just because I feel like once again that would just be like doing the same thing with Christianity, like I would just
Yeah.
be pushing it on him. And I want him to have the freedom to choose what he wants to choose. Um,
Yeah.
he obviously knows a little bit about Christianity and Jesus and all of that stuff, but he is going to make that choice one day for himself, and I want him to be at peace with
Mhm.
whatever he chooses. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the number one things I love about our parents, right? Like they are just letting us do whatever, and they don't.
Yeah.
A long time ago, they might have given us some pushback. Like if this was happening when
Mhm.
I was in high school, my mom would be like, "Bitch, I don't think so."
Yeah.
But I think they've also come to a little bit of a different place and a different understanding. And yeah, maybe they're
Mhm.
not ready to completely let go of everything yet. Um, okay, I get it. But they support us in no matter what,
Mhm.
and my mom, our mom goes to mediumship classes. My parents are always asking me to pull their cards.
Yeah.
All of this just crazy stuff. And I think that's the number one thing to remember is that like you are a bad parent for like letting your kids make their own choices and not teaching them about God or not teaching them about
Yeah.
paganism or Wicca, whatever. Like let your
Right.
kids come to you with the questions that they have and you just be open to allowing them to do that. Right? Let them be who they want to be, even if that's black nail polish and eyeliner and
Yeah.
then freaking tutus. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
be their safe person, that they can come to with anything. And if they come to you about Christianity, support them in that, even if it's not your choice, because that's your job
Yeah.
as a parent is to support your child and be a safe,
Yeah.
be a safe person
Yep.
for them. So,
I think that's the best
yeah.
gift you can give them
Yep.
is autonomy.
Exactly. It's if you are educated on it, I will support you in it,
Yeah.
so
But if you're just going to on the LifeWise bus because you want to go get Chick-fil-A at lunchtime,
honestly,
no.
I'd probably support you in that. Because I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, she would have.
Free Chick-fil-A. Sign me
Yeah.
up, bitch. Sign me up.
You know what
Dude,
I wouldn't
10
have?
years of
Because
Hermanas, motherfucker. I can pretend to do this for a little longer.
you know what I wouldn't do it because they wouldn't have gluten-free. They'd only have chicken sandwiches.
That's
Because
true.
those bitches aren't inclusive. So
Don't remind me. What did I see today? Oh, what did I see? I was like, of fucking course. You're gonna come out with that as soon as I can't eat gluten anymore, bitches. I can't even
Oh
remember.
yeah.
I can't even remember. I was so pissed. I was like, of course. Fuck you. So bad.
That's funny.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that was the end of my oral history question and answers. If you have any other questions, let us know because
Yep.
I would love to answer them. I love to talk and answer questions. So
Yes.
just message
Yapper.
us, leave a comment, go to TikTok, do it all. Um,
Yep.
we are gonna pause because we're gonna do Carly's as a part two so that you can come back for the next episode and tune into Carly's question and answers. Um, we will do our card and everything at the end of Carly's stuff. However, I did get the Queen of Cups, so just keep that in mind because that was just a random thing that popped up for me. So I'll try to post that like on Instagram too, so you guys can see that and a little blurb about it. We can call that my card of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, tune back in for part two, or just keep letting it play, and it will pop up for you automatically.